Hello and welcome to the Father and Son Pastime Podcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin. How are you?
That's my dad. Dad, we're here to do our 2021 playoff predictions. The MLB season had a full 162-game schedule. Thank goodness we're back to normal. And now we're back to doing our predictions just like 2012 to 2019. The playoff format is your, I guess now, traditional 10 games,
Correct.
or 10 teams with 4 wildcard teams. The Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees play tonight. Tomorrow, the Cardinals and the Dodgers play, and then we really get into the division series, followed by a championship series, and then the World Series. It's going to be a great October. Best time for baseball. We absolutely love this time.
Yeah.
Chaos ensues. We had a really tight end of the race. Chaos.
Yes.
This is chaos.
Yeah. But you're right. It was a great weekend of baseball. A lot of teams were disappointed, disheartened, especially in the American League. 4 teams down to the wire to see who was going to get in and who not. And, I mean, the Yankees in a walk-off, and the Red Sox hung on. So pretty, theatrical performances by those teams. So it was exciting. I love watching Saturday and Sunday baseball.
Yeah. No game 163. I know a lot of people are rooting for that. I think the Blue Jays and Mariners will be in next year, but we're not here to talk about next year. We're here to talk about the here and now. So what we're gonna go through is each of our predictions from the wild card game tonight, division series, championship series to the World Series. Kind of curious to see who takes who. Please share your comments below. We're going to get this uploaded right before the Red Sox and Yankees game. But, Dad, since we are both wearing Red Sox shirts, are we both taking the underdog that the Red Sox beat the Yankees?
I firmly believe that, and I have reasons why the Red Sox will win tonight.
Share them.
The big one, playing in Fenway.
Absolutely. Home field advantage.
Big, big, big. Those fans will be rabid. And they don't like each other to begin with.
No.
So
baseball's best rivalry.
Yes. And I'm really thinking that I went down a whole bunch of reasons. Cole being a one-game pitcher with everything on the line. He failed in Pittsburgh, lost to the Cubs when Jake Arrieta. And I'm thinking back then he didn't make it out of the 6th inning. So I think, again, being in Boston, nerves will be, pretty high. And then I went through the lineup for both teams, and New York has a lot of injuries, and they're going to miss a lot of key components, which makes their defense a little shaky. And I think the Red Sox will exploit Sanchez as a catcher. They got a little speed. And I think they'll run. They'll be very aggressive on a base pass. So I'm thinking, with many other reasons we'll talk later, I think Boston has the edge in almost every category.
Yeah. I'll do a quick injury report like you were mentioning. The only injury for the Red Sox is J.D. Martinez. He slipped on second base trotting out to the outfield this past weekend. He's out for this game. If the Red Sox obviously do advance, who knows what will happen at the division series level. But again, there is no tomorrow. You can't think about tomorrow. You can only think about today.
I wonder if he could even pinch hit.
I think he's been ruled out, and I think the roster does not include J.D. Martinez. So I do not think we'll be seeing a surprise moment.
Terrific. That's fine.
The Yankees injuries you were talking about. Luke Voit, I believe, is out.
Correct.
I think out for the season, regardless of how far the Yankees go. LeMahieu's definitely out for this game. Possibly further again if the Yankees advance. And it's not he's playing, but Gio Urshela did take a nasty fall into the Rays dugout this weekend. I'm sure he's bruised. I'm sure he's battered. I admire him for playing, but at what capacity will he be at 100%? I don't know. So, again, the Red Sox have less injured people. You made a great point that Gerrit Cole does have a lot of playoff experience. He does have a lot of playoff losses. Nate Eovaldi only knows championships in the playoffs. He has, I believe, lost in the 2018, but he had a really great ERA during that time, and obviously he did end 2018 with a ring. When he played the Yankees last week, the Yankees lit him up. It looks to be that he was tipping his pitches. He's since corrected that. The Red Sox have noticed whatever that tip was, so the Yankees won't have that little edge to be like, oh, it's a curveball coming, breaking ball, that kind of stuff. I don't think, Dad, this will be a high-scoring game. I have 3-2 Boston wins.
You missed a couple injuries that have plagued them throughout the year. Hicks being their center fielder, their outfield defense is not good. So I'm thinking the Red Sox are going to run every opportunity, and then Britton is out of the bullpen. So
Britton's been done,
another key piece. So I mean, you really think about the Yankees and losing just those 4 players. Really, I think takes away from the strength of the team. I think what Evaldi has to do is have to be careful of the power that the Yankees have. He has to go, corner. He can't put anything in the middle of the plate. If they do, it's going to be banging off the Fenway wall.
Yeah, pitch around Stanton. I'm fine with that. He seems to have Evaldi's number. He's hot lately. I'm fine if we end up with a walk on him.
Yeah, and Judge, yeah. But I think that's the couple of the keys. I think if they went through a category. Defensively, the Red Sox have it. Speed, the Red Sox have it. And I think you have some really. I mean, if you really look at their outfield, they have some strong arms. So I don't think the Yankees will be taking an extra base. So that may be enough to keep them down. But I'm thinking 4-3, something like that as well. The bullpen of the Red Sox will play a key.
Yeah. And again, this is the wild card that I think America's talking about. I think it's that rivalry that we're used to seeing this in like a championship series. If we go back to like 2003, 2004, and now only one team advances.
It's gonna be a great game, by the way.
Yeah, well, you think that it'll be 3-2 as well? You think it'll be higher?
4-3.
4-3. So another close game.
Yeah.
So,
and I think the key is the bullpen of both teams, and I just think being at home, the edge goes to the Red Sox. Their bullpen came through this weekend pretty well.
Fenway's going to be on fire today, and I wish I was there. It's a great place to be.
El Fuego.
Let's move to the National League just for the wild card, then we'll jump back to the AL to see who the Red Sox raise, see who we take on that. But I'm also going to take an underdog, not the home team here, but I'm going to take the St. Louis Cardinals against the Dodgers.
Me too.
Father like son. The reason being, I think Max Gerzer is a Hall of Fame pitcher. I think he's phenomenal during the season. He doesn't have the relationship Waino and Molina have. I mean, they have been a pitcher-catcher duo for 15-plus years. Will Smith is a great catcher. I think he's honestly like the next Buster Posey. I have nothing but good things to say about Will Smith. Will Smith and Max Gerzer have been working together for under 3 months, like 2.5. That's a lot to expect that things are going to be perfect, and things just won't be perfect. Max Gerzer, I've seen in the playoffs live at Nats Park. In 2020, he was electric. Really before that, not so electric. I think I was texting you this week, Dad, that he's given up like 40-plus runs in his playoff experience. Again, a lot of experience, but so does Adam Wainwright. Adam Wainwright has rings too.
And a gamer.
Right. So this is a great, we're talking about Cole Evaldi, great. Does not compare pitching-wise to Adam Wainwright and Max Gerzer. If you like pitching in baseball, you're going to tune in tomorrow to the National League Wild Card. I think you're in for a show. But with that being said, I think the St. Louis Cardinals are hungrier. I'm a huge Nolan Arenado fan. He wants to make a statement, prove himself to his new city, his first year. What a better opportunity than a huge upset against the Dodgers. And a lot of people are now starting to take the Cardinals that. I thought it was going to be like a 100-1 odds. Yeah. And the last time I saw it was like 60-40. So good for the Cardinals for not being discounted, not being like forgotten about. Like they are truly a competitor. In a series, I'd pick the Dodgers 10 times out of 10. But in a one game, anything can happen. Waino on the bump. I'm taking the Cardinals. They also have less injuries. We were talking about that. Max Muncy's out for tomorrow, and Max Muncy's been a huge part of their offense. And I want to say there was Kershaw obviously will not be pitching out of any situation. Relief. Obviously, he's not the starter, but Kershaw's not available for the wild card game.
They're going to go strictly bullpen tonight because their starters were used,
Yeah.
So.
If the Dodgers started Walker Buehler, I think they will win this game. But I think Max Gerzer, I think he gives up 3 or 4 runs, and I don't know if the Dodgers ever come back. They're not going to be used to if the Cardinals score first. I think that's going to be really big. I think both these games can be won with a quick early lead. Not like a grand slam or anything like that, but just enough to shock and unsettle a very good starter. These are all great starters, all proven. I think it's just enough to give momentum, and momentum is huge in the playoffs. And who has the momentum right now? The St. Louis Cardinals. Phenomenal September. I think they lost 1 game in their last 15. So
they were below 500 not that long ago.
Right. So they're hot. Let them stay hot. How long that Heat last. We'll see. But I have the Cardinals beating the Dodgers. Any other comments, Dad?
Yes, of course.
Oh, of course. My dad always has something to say.
You hit a lot of my key points that I was gonna say, but I really think somebody out of the St. Louis who may not be one of their stars will come through and be heroic tonight.
Tommy Edman, or tomorrow, but yeah.
Yes, Tommy tomorrow. I'm sorry, but Tyler O'Neill
Yeah.
had a great season. Harrison Bader, great season. Dylan Carlson and Tommy Edman, great defensive players, by the way. Young, speedy. O'Neill had, close to 30 home runs.
I think he had 35.
Yeah.
I think he had more. I'm pretty positive he had more than 30.
So if you think about power and how they really got through September, they outscored a lot of teams. Because the pitching staff was coming around, but they just demolished some teams. So they have a great lineup. I saw a little of them against the Cubs. They're strong 1 through 9. And, I really think, and the best third baseman in baseball, probably the best first baseman in baseball.
Yeah, best corners.
Yeah, so, if you're talking about that, and then you got Edman, who's probably may be the Gold Glove winner at second base.
He's phenomenal.
Yes.
He can play multiple positions, too.
And you made great points. In a 7-game series or even a 5-game series, Dodgers are going to win.
Yeah.
Just because the Cardinals are going to run out of pitching. But 1 game, winner takes all. The Cardinals, again, like you said, have momentum. You go without a hot hand, the Cardinals have the hot hand.
And they're going to shock the world. I really think, just looking at some predictions and looking at Vegas and all that stuff, we are recording this on the 5th, Tuesday, right before the Red Sox and Yankees game. Some people have the Yankees in the World Series. The Dodgers are still the odds-on favorite to not even be in the World Series, but to win it. This would really mess with a lot of people's money. But I'm all for it. We didn't get a chaos game 163, but we're going to have crazy wild card games.
Yeah, and fun and very entertaining. You got to give credit to the Cardinals that they took a chance on some older veterans at the deadline.
Retirement crew.
And people were saying, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Hey, we got to fill in, 3, 4, 5." And they went out and didn't give up a whole bunch. And those guys have come through and kind of with glue and spit, put it together. And great chemistry. And you got to give them a lot of credit. If the season kept on going, they could have caught the Brewers.
Yeah, I fully believe that. Yeah.
So that's exciting too. So, hats off to the Cardinals. And the other thing I want to mention is how disappointing was, the Dodgers not to get first place. They were chasing the Giants. Yeah. How much energy did they use chasing the Giants? Mm-hmm. Are they tired?
Yeah.
Are they disappointed? All those things come into my mind. As the emotional part of being an athlete is like, okay, we didn't make what our goal was first place. We're playing in a wild card. Are they going to go in with a little lackadaisical attitude?
Yeah.
I think emotion is going to be a big part of this game.
If this was 2010 and the Dodgers were that 4th wild card and they got that 5-game division series, I think I'd put them in the World Series, if not winning it. But this is the format we're given. In 1 game, anything can happen. Yeah. The Orioles could beat the Dodgers in a 1-game series. That's just how it is. That's baseball. That's kind of the fun of it. Maybe it's unfair, but I think it's extremely fair.
Yeah. Orioles took 2 out of 3 of the Red Sox in a week that mattered.
Yeah, they swept the Yankees this year too.
Yeah.
So anything can happen. Or they took a series against the Yankees, and they also swept the Red Sox at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But regardless, any team can beat any team. Just stars can align. So we got our wild cards at the same. That's great. Do you want to go back to the AL or stay in the NL?
You lead me through, and I'll give you my picks.
Let's go back to the AL.
Okay.
I think I said that was what we were going to do. So we have, both of us have the Red Sox and Rays division series. Who wins that?
The Rays.
I agree as well. Listen, I can only speak for myself. I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm also a realist and a baseball fan. It's hard to bet against the Rays. It is. You'll stay tuned to see what I do, but I just think that the Rays going Ray. They are proven winners. I don't know how sometimes. They've had a lot of injuries.
It's magic. It's absolutely magical.
Yeah.
And they've had an incredible season when they lost some key components of their team, and they just keep going. I know they have a strong farm system, big part of their success, but you got to give that manager some credit because he keeps them motivated.
Yeah.
He had an incredible season. No one thought they'd be the first place in the American League East.
Yeah. The Rays, again, don't have Snell. Morton or Glasnow this time. So they're going to have
to still won 100 games.
Still 100 games. But they're going to have to find a different format for the playoffs than last year. I know that's going to be Waka. I know that's going to be probably some relievers doing some opening stuff. I mean, the Rays will find a way. I think it will be a good series. It won't be a sweep. I think the Red Sox get a game to make the Rays a little nervous. I do think Rays in 4. Yeah, I didn't tell you how many. You don't have to worry about that prediction if you don't want to, but I think the Rays will win that series.
I agree. I agree. They're powerful. They're riding the wave. There's some holes in the pitching staff of the Red Sox. I think that's where they're going to lose that series once they get past the 2 main starters.
Red Sox just give up a lot of runs, but the Rays don't give up a lot of runs.
Defensively, they're very good.
Right, exactly. So
yeah, they got some speed. They have some power.
They have talent.
It's a good baseball team.
Yeah, it is for not a lot of money. Now, I'm more excited. Probably my favorite division series to watch that will be the White Sox and Astros because we'll kind of get into this just after we kind of get through the AL. But White Sox and Astros took some people by surprise. A lot of people thought the Twins were going to really dominate. Oakland possibly dominated. I thought the Angels were going to do really well this year too. This is great baseball. I mean, these are very evenly matched teams. Yeah. Both have great offense. Astros lead the American League in runs. Both have great pitching. It's balanced. I think this would have been a more exciting ALCS, but this is how things broke out. With that being said, I have the Astros winning in 5. It goes to the full 5.
I have the Astros winning as well. I think the White Sox will learn a great deal about postseason baseball. Yeah. And I think they're young. And I think if they lose the first game, that'll be very detrimental to them. And I think what they have to do is, keep their composure. But they're so young and emotional. Jimenez and his crew are very young. And, Dylan Cease is young and all that. This is going to be a stepping stone for him. Yeah. But I think the Astros win that one too.
Yeah, they're a phenomenal team. Sounds like we're both, again, we're really in agreement here. This is what you do when you watch baseball all year long together. The Astros have been there. Most of their offense has been playoff tested for the past 4 years. And they got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Yes. I know they have a ring, but a lot of people think, they're the asterisks. And they're out there to prove something that, hey, we can still win a World Series. We don't need to bang on a trash can to hear it coming. We're truly talented people. Listen, I don't like the Astros either, but that's the mentality these players who are elite players, like it or not, are playing with. That makes them very dangerous people. And again, I think it'll be a battle. I wish it was 7 games and not 5 just for entertainment's sake, but I think we'll see an Astros-Rays ALCS.
I'm complete agreement.
Dad, who wins that?
The Rays.
Oh, we have our first disagreements. I have the Astros. All right, because it's just like the Rays are going Ray at this point.
I think the Rays will have momentum. They'll have confidence, and I think they have a better all-around club. And I think, we saw the Rays in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. They have a pretty darn good bullpen. A lot of hard throwers out there. So when they get in there, I think there's going to be some magic, and I think the Rays were there last year. I think it carries them this year, so I think the Rays win it.
It's going to be another great series. I think it's going to be the Astros. I'll take Astros in 6. I think the Astros figure out the Rays. I think going that many games, they're either going to see someone again. The Rays are like, oh, only so many pitches. We got to pull you. I think the Astros just pull out all the stops. They have sort of a deeper rotation. The bullpen's great on both teams. I just think the offense is a little bit better with Houston. I think they see each other so many times, they're going to figure each other out as the series goes on. But people like Jordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker, not the big names like Correa and Altuve, they're going to be your heroes of this series. One of them, Tucker or Jordan Alvarez, gets the ALCS MVP, possibly the World Series MVP, but they will be the difference makers. Rays will overscout, overwatch, swing analysis on Correa and Bregman and all that, and forget about some power hitters that are the DHs and the outfielders.
Okay. I just think the Rays are the team to beat in the American League.
I agree with that too, and I think the Houston Astros beat them.
Okay.
It's going to be a great... If that's RCS, that's our only difference. Great. Yeah. Because we had all the teams there. Yeah. Dad, just to recap for the fans at home, our ALCS... and actually, we'll wait to we'll wait till we get to the World Series. We'll go over our World Series predictions that were from back in April because they were quite wrong. But you said the Twins. No, I said the Twins, and you said the Yankees. So I'm completely out, obviously. You're still possible. Yeah. But we'll go to the World Series in a bit.
We'll find out in 4 hours.
Yeah, we will, absolutely. All right, well, moving on to the NL, Dad. That's what we'll do now. So we're talking the Cardinals upsetting the Dodgers. The Cardinals get the Giants, and I think will be a very fun series. Do we have another upset, or do we have the best team in baseball winning out?
Giants will win that. I think, think about this for a minute. From day one, the Giants have led that division. Very competitive division, top 3 teams. And they had a little, chihuahua biting at their heels the whole time. Yeah. And they didn't relent. So I think they have a lot of confidence. Belt being injured didn't help them any.
Correct.
But boy, they're a fun team. They got a great pitching staff. Giants win that quite easily.
Besides Belt, I do have the Giants winning as well. Besides Belt being injured for how long, they're reinvigorated Scott Kazmir. I don't think he's a difference maker, but he's going to be out for a while in the playoffs. Alex Dickerson is an outfielder for them, and he's day-to-day. And Tony Watson, one of their better relievers that they got mid-year, is also day-to-day.
Yeah.
So, hey, does that mean they're ready for game 1 of the DS? Maybe. Maybe they miss it entirely. We'll see, but that does play a factor. Yeah. Cardinals beating the Dodgers also is going to scare the Giants. That could be enough for some players to get a little itchy, not having their sort of pseudo-captain with Brandon Belt. I know Posey's their captain, but Belt's been a Giant for like a decade as well.
Crawford's in there too.
Crawford is probably their best player.
And a leader.
Absolutely. So I think that could be a great game. I think that could also go 5, but the pitching of the Giants, I think, really helps them get through that series, not so much their offense. They find ways to get runs, but I think their pitching helps.
I agree.
Yeah.
And pitching wins baseball games.
Pitching wins baseball games. Now, Dad, I think I'll try to watch as much baseball as I can over the next month, of course. I think I'm actually least interested in this series, but a lot of people are predicting it to go the full 5. Braves and Brewers. Who do you think gets it?
Brewers sweep.
Brewers sweep. So you're like
3-zip.
Is it just the Acuna and Azuna factor, or just because of Brewers?
Pitching. They'll put the 3 main starters that have been great all year. They'll go 1, 2, 3, and they'll beat the Braves 3-zip.
I have a feeling that could be the result as well. I have the Brewers moving on pretty handily. I like the Braves. They were actually my early season favorites to win the World Series. One of my few teams that made my playoff predictions. Running into the Brewers early on, I know maybe the Brewers aren't the most exciting team in MLB. They don't have the biggest market, but they have the best pitching. They have multiple Cy Young candidates, not just one. I mean, they
threw a lot of shutouts this year.
They have a phenomenal team. Christian Yelich is, if he just gets hot, I know he had a down year. He has a hot series. Who cares about the season? The Brewers are right now. They're a title town. They see the Bucks. They see the Bucks for championship. They want a piece of that too. They've never had a World Series title. They are hungry. And I was talking with the Astros earlier about being hungry. Hunger kind of gets them. We'll see how far, but definitely past the Braves.
Hungry like a wolf?
Hungry like a wolf, Duran. Hopefully that's not copyright. Dad, we got the Giants and Brewers. I would say arguably the best pitching in the NL, depending if the Dodgers obviously make it to this point. But what's left, definitely the best pitching. Giants, best team in baseball. Brewers, arguably best pitching rotation in baseball. Who wins that series?
Giants.
Oh, guess what? Who I have?
Brewers.
I have the Brew Crew.
But that's a 7.
That's a 7. I think that's a 7. I think it's both ALCSs will just give us so many highlights for years to come.
They'll be playing at Christmas.
I would love that. I would love that. Play to November. That's fine.
That's right. Hell of football season.
So why do you think so we have been similar in a wildcard division series, and we have our only differences in the championship series. So why do you take the Giants over the Brewers?
Momentum.
Okay. You're just really taking the best 2 teams of each division. Okay.
Yeah. And I think the Giants, I think it's great for San Francisco to host apparently a great ballpark, great fans.
Yeah.
They, if you really talk to people that know baseball and are not biased, they say San Francisco has the best fans. Very, very vocal. So I like that home field advantage.
I love Gabe Kapler. I think he's a great manager.
They'll have the home field advantage throughout the playoffs, which I think means something.
Yeah.
So I just think, he'll throw Gosman out there and all that. I think they find a way to win. And it's been that way the whole year. They end up winning 103 games, something like that.
Yeah. I think more.
Yeah. So I just think, will the Brewers pitchers get a little tired towards the end of October?
Yeah.
They pitched a lot of innings. So I just think the Giants, again, momentum, home field advantage. I just like the way they play baseball this year.
I think what you said earlier about the Brewers sweeping the Braves could be the best thing that happens for the CS in favor of the Brewers. How you act today can certainly help your tomorrow.
Yeah.
I really think the Cardinals are going to give the Giants a fight. I could be wrong there. We could be looking at 2 sweeps. Then it's chalk. But I just think the Brewers have just a slight advantage in pitching. Again, I think Webb is great. I think Wood's great. I think Gossman's great. But there's just the pitching of the Brewers is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. This is one of the few cases where I think pitching is going to just be better than offense in this case. The Giants score runs. They don't have the biggest home run hitters on their team. If you look, like everyone seems to have a nice spread. Yeah, they scrap for runs. They come back from losses. If they're down in the 7th, they'll win. They're down in the 8th, they'll still somehow win. They have the highest record in baseball.
A lot of walk-offs.
It's just incredible. In late night comebacks or late inning comebacks.
Mm-hmm. And late nights, West Coast.
Right. So we have a completely different World Series at this point. So you have Rays and Giants.
Yes.
And then I have Astros and Brewers. So Dad, tell me, this is where we don't have to. We know we're going to disagree. So tell me who wins the World Series.
Giants.
Brings it back to San Francisco. That's a dynasty. That's 4 championships in 11 years.
Yes. And I just think that they have kind of found the secret ingredients to win. The chemistry is there. You read different sports writers, and they say the thing that made the Giants different than all the other teams, chemistry. Mm. And I think they're going to hang together, and I think, if they lose a game, they're going to bounce back. So I think that chemistry, and the Rays are going to be a little bit short on talent, so I think the Giants will take it from there. I'm thinking that's going to be a 5-game series, and Giants are going to take it in 5.
Wow. So you have an East Coast versus West Coast World Series.
Yes.
And I have just middle of the country. I have the Midwest versus the Southwest. Mm-hmm. I got the Southwest winning. I love the hunger of both teams. Like I said, this is a hungry World Series. Astros have something to prove. Shell in a way of their 2017 self, but still have found new talent. Michael Brantley's hitting over 300 this year. Didn't expect to see that out of them. Brewers getting there is great, but most of the Brewers largely unproven in these big games. Like I said, they've never had a World Series. Most of their team has not been really playoff tested, especially in these deep, meaningful championship games.
They drafted really well. Most of the team is through the system.
Right. So what I'm saying is you have some pieces that have seen championships maybe in their college days or something like that. The Astros, the stars, the names of the Astros that you think of with the Greinke and the Urquidy and Correa and Bregman, they're talking about the glory days to these new kids. They're getting them excited.
Yeah, I know.
They're saying we're going to do, like, that rallying cry, Houston. Looking at the 2019 World Series, I don't know how the Nats beat the Astros in Houston. It's a tough place to play. It's a dome. Anyways, you're going to have, I think, a long World Series. It's not the most marketable World Series for baseball, but I think
it's good for baseball.
I think it's good for baseball. This is, again, going off of what we think will happen, not what we want to happen. I unfortunately think that the Houston Astros will be your 2021 World Series champions.
Yeah, it's good thoughts.
So you have the National League winning, I have the American League winning.
I do. Okay. I do. I just think the National League, let's face it, when you have 2 teams, same division, that win 100 games, that's unheard of. That's very good. That's great competition. And don't forget, the Giants have played the Dodgers 18 times this year. Those are like playoff games.
I know.
So they're battle-tested.
You could say they're tired. I don't know.
Okay, whatever.
You can spin it either way is what I'm saying.
Correct.
Houston's had to fight for first place. In the past few years, I think they've just sailed. They've only had the competition of Oakland. Like, who cares if Oakland gets a or the wild card? the Mariners took games from them. Oakland, when they were
Yeah.
fighting a little harder, not so much in September, they took games away from them. They experienced losses, harder this year. They don't have Verlander. But I think that they have the right pieces that want to make a name for themselves and say, hey, we can still win a championship without some of our title guys. But
Bregman might be the key.
I just like Bregman so much. But
I think he's the key. I really do. Because he's a talented guy. He's got power. He has fire. I think he's the leader of the team. Altuve as well. But I think Bregman's more of a leader.
Yeah. All right, so we have, just to recap, going just World Series. I have the Astros over the Brewers, and you have the Giants over the Rays.
Correct.
Let's turn the clocks back. We're going to go all the way back to April 1st, April 2nd, to share our original World Series predictions to see how far off we have been. Dad, you predicted the Padres over the Yankees. Padres can't win. Yankees would be a miracle. And I had the Braves over the Twins. Statistically, that's a little bit of a better chance. Don't think it'll happen either. But we had 2 picks of our World Series make the playoffs.
Better than I thought.
When we did mid-season, Dad, we had, I wrote that down entirely. If you remember your predictions, I wrote down all of our playoff predictions. I believe I kept... I don't know what I said. Vin Scully over here. I don't know what he's doing. I wrote down all of our midseason predictions for who won each division, but I didn't write down who won the World Series. My guess, looking at my list, I probably said the White Sox and Dodgers, probably. It's probably what I would have gone with. So that could be a fun World Series. And then, Dad?
I thought the Dodgers were going to win the National League, and I was kind of going for White Sox as well because they were so hot at that point. Yeah. But I was big on Dodgers midseason, and then when they did the acquisitions, then that was the best trade in baseball. I hope it works. It works out for them. But I'm just thinking in a 1-game series against St. Louis, I don't think they're going to do it. I think St. Louis is the hot hand, and they're going in saying, "Hey, be loose." Be loose, have fun. We've got the formula. Let's just go.
I didn't talk about that either, but the expectations of both the Yankees and the Dodgers is to win, and the Red Sox and Yankees, man, are just having a good time. What was so great about the 2018 Red Sox, the 2019 Nationals, they were just having a good time.
Yeah,
they weren't the best team. Neither one of those teams, if you look at the playoff teams from their years, were like the best team. Red Sox had a great record, but look at the 2013 Red Sox. They just had fun. They did the Fear the Beard thing back in 2013. Sometimes being loose and just having a good team makes it all the better. Yeah. And I think the Cardinals and Red Sox have some fun. I think the Cardinals really have a lot of fun. So we'll see.
Team chemistry.
They have team chemistry.
And they're young, and they're saying, well, we've got to lose.
Yeah.
And they got some great stars. Here's a question for tonight's game.
Okay.
Which ex-Cub has a better game, Schwarber or Rizzo?
I think Rizzo does just because the lefty in Fenway. But we'll see.
Schwarber's lefty.
I know, but Rizzo is I think a little quicker with the bat than Schwarber.
Interesting. I'm thinking just the opposite.
We'll see.
I think Schwarber goes deep tonight.
I hope so. Kike Hernandez and Rafael Devers will be the 2 big offensive pushes for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Before we go, I just wanted to say we wanted to share this is what we thought was going to happen. Like, this is what we think. Necessarily what we want. Dad, if you could make your own World Series just based off, like, I would pay money to go here, I'd pay money to watch these 2 teams play, what would you say?
Red Sox, Cubs.
The Cubs aren't even in the playoffs, Dad.
Oh, I thought
no, like with the
said any team.
No, any teams in the playoffs.
I'd like to see Red Sox, Cardinals.
The wild card to wild card? That could be
because the one of the first World Series I ever got into, 1967, Red Sox Cardinals. It was Longboard versus Bob Gibson, Rico Petrocelli. I mean, that's when the Red Sox had just a great lineup up and down. Cardinals had Lou Brock, and I mentioned Bob Gibson, and they just were black and white TV, and we got to watch the World Series in school. So they played day games, World Series, and the nuns let us watch it in school. And I will always remember that the rest of my life.
2013 World Series was also Red Sox Cardinals.
Yeah.
To share a fun thing, we're a family pod here. My mom and my fiance both think the Red Sox win tonight, so that's 4-0 against the Yankees. So hopefully that means something. I'm sure it doesn't, but I hope it means something. They filled out their brackets too. There's still a little bit of time to fill out your brackets. They both have the Dodgers beating the Cardinals. So we shall see if the men are right, if the women are right on that. But again, enjoy the postseason. I guess I'll close with my picks, Dad. Baseball-wise, I would love Astros-Dodgers just so we could see some brawls. Because I really would love that. I think it's very marketable. I think it would be fantastic.
Joe Kelly against the world.
Joe Kelly against, I don't know, Correa at 6'5". I know Joe Kelly's not 6'5". That was just a joke. Mm-hmm. For the watchability, I guess that if obviously I would choose the Red Sox. But I love the Braves. I like the Cardinals too. I mean, they're kind of fun teams. But sure, I'll say Red Sox, Cardinals as well, just for how did these two teams make the playoffs, given some of their seasons or some of their season's expectations, and then, shock the world. I'm all about chaos. So hopefully we'll see that tonight. Hopefully the Red Sox beat the Yankees.
1 point. The TV executives would love Dodgers, Yankees.
Sure. I mean, Yankees in the World Series are good for baseball, good for money. Same with the Dodgers.
Yes.
I don't think it'll be that way. Same with the White Sox. I mean, Chicago's a big market. But regardless, playoff baseball is back. So excited about it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you don't miss an inning, don't miss a pitch. It's sure going to be history. It always is. So with that, Dad will close. We're going to turn on the Red Sox. We'll get this uploaded. I'll say go Sox.
Go Sox myself.
Enjoy the playoffs.
Great city.